Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So today, as I record this podcast, I'm supposed to be heading out to catch a plane, I say it probably, to take a plane to go to Laguna Beach, California, and I am not because of the voice. So let me explain. So I had been part of, in the past, a group coaching program called Shield Maiden with my former coach, Satema, who is incredible and amazing and one of the most impactful human beings I've ever had in my life, and helped me huge, and just incredible human being. Love and appreciate him so much. And so when he told me July of this year, and we had been doing one-on-one coaching, hey, I'm going to do this thing where I'm going to have a lot of you women back and some new women that we've come to the group coaching program. Would you like to do it? I'm like, all in, totally there. And that was back in July. Well, about 3 weeks ago, I had already booked my flight, like everything's all set and ready to go. 3 weeks ago, I started this feeling that I shouldn't be there. And I was like, I don't know what this is. It's just maybe that little inkling of like, I'm leaving Ed and the kids. And, it's always a little tricky to do those things, a little difficult. And, it's just me thinking, well, this is going to be another level of expansion, or willing to do some uncomfortable things. And maybe I just want to avoid that. That's it, right? So I tried to rationalize it, justify it, and quite honestly, just like squash that feeling. About a week and a half ago, I had more of that feeling. And I talked to my coach who I'm coaching with at the time. Her name is Jill. She's also a good friend of mine. And I said, hey, this is kind of coming up. And really talked about it. And I said, you know what? I think there's something for me to see in this experience. So whatever stuff that's like coming up, it's just, it's this thing. And I felt good about it. Like I felt really clean. Well, this past week, so the week leading up to, because we were to begin today on a Monday, I started to have that same feeling again. And I was like, it's not, like that. There's something for me to see. Like I'm just resisting it, right? Again, I went through and I squashed the feeling that the voice was telling me. Well, by Friday morning, so 3 days ago, the voice was literally screaming at me. Let me just go back a little bit for a moment. And if you're new to the podcast and have not heard me talk about the voice before, the voice is that intuition, right? It's that inner knowing. It's that spidey sense. It's the gut feeling. Like we all have it, right? And we've all had experiences where we listen to it, and we've all had experiences when we ignore it. And I'll share with you in a moment of one I had when I've ignored it. So at this point, 3 days ago, like the voice is screaming, and I'm just like in. And at this point, it's now beyond the like, oh, but I should go, and I made this commitment stuff. It was just like, you should not get on that plane. You need to not, like, you should not go. And so I called up Satema and I just said, hey, we're Vox, and can we have a conversation? And we did, and he understood. It's like, it's the voice, right? Like something is coming up. I don't know what it is, and I might never know what that thing is. But let me give you some context to understand what happens when you ignore the voice. So go back about, like 25 years ago. Okay, I was 23, graduated from university, was living with my brother, had just finished school, my first degree, which was a honors BA in psychology. And I was living with my brother that summer, my brother and his wife, his first wife at the time. And said they were going away to the cottage for like a week, and said, hey, like you can drive the car, but only, like to the gym and that kind of stuff. Like don't fucking go take it anywhere, because I didn't have a vehicle at the time. I go, no problem. And I didn't even have a full license at that time. I had like a learner's permit, something where you have to have like a licensed driver in the car. I'm like, okay, no problem. He's like, listen, I don't really care if you take her to the gym and stuff. Like, it's fine, it's cool. Because the gym, I think, is only like 5 minutes from the house. But then I had my friend, my good friend at the time, who said to me, hey, let's go to Kingston. So Kingston was about an hour and 3/4 away from where I used to live in Ottawa, or at least at the time, in Ontario, in Canada. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I didn't even go like, oh, but David said. And I just went, no, let's do it. So we were leaving on a Friday, and it starts raining, and I'm like, now I'm a very inexperienced driver at this point, right? You kind of remember what that's like. Like, you just don't know how to respond to weather situations, all that kind of stuff. And so it's starting to rain. I'm like, oh, whatever. And it was like highway driving. So 110 kilometers an hour, or 100 kilometers, which is about like 65 miles per hour. And so as we go to leave that day, the windshield wiper breaks on the car. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck about cars. It was like a Firefly, like just piece of shit old car. One of those cars that, you know, would just, if a truck passed on the highway, like you could feel it move back and forth because it's so light. And so we go to the hardware store. I figure out how to do it, put that on. Then I go to leave, and I can't figure out the key. So it was like one of those homes where it was like a split, where the front door, like there was a separate kind of front door to the actual inside the house door, and I couldn't figure out one of them. I don't remember. And I couldn't find the key, and I'm looking, you know, finally kind of found it, right? So, you know, there was signs starting to come up like, I probably shouldn't go, outside of the thing that I made agreement with my brother and I broke it. So I'm like, no, it'll be fine. Then my friend goes, hey, I want to invite my friend Kara. I'm like, cool. Well, let's have her ride with us. She gets in the car. She doesn't put on her seatbelt in the back seat. And I think, I don't want to be, at this time at least, this is 1992. I'm like, I don't want to be the fucking nerd saying, put your seatbelt on. So I didn't say anything to her. Didn't say anything. Didn't know her really. I think maybe we'd met once, maybe not at all. I don't remember. So then we get in the car and we drive. Okay, so we're driving, again, inexperienced driver, highway, high speed, trying to be cool about it. I'm actually kind of a little nervous. It was like a stick shift, and anyways. So what happens is, because it'd been raining, there was just, you know, the highway was like slightly slick. But what happened is I went to turn back to look at my friend Paula's friend in the back seat. Her name is Kara. And because I'm an experienced driver, the wheels started turning a little bit. I hit shoulder, like very slightly where this gravel. And I kind of panicked and overcompensated. Okay, so like basically the car went into like a 180 and then backwards into a ditch. Now, thank fucking God that there was no other cars that were there at the time on a very busy highway. But I'll tell you something, as it's going on, if you've been in a car accident, you know this happens. It's almost like you're in slow motion, right? You're slow-mo. I look in the rearview mirror and I see Kara's head, like basically her slide across the seat, hit her head on the one window, slide across and hit her head on the other window because she had no seatbelt on. And then, you know, so then the car was somewhat drivable and someone stopped and we drive, and then I got to call my brother and go, fuck, I fucked up. And there was this feeling inside the whole time of, Karen, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I was 23 at the time, stupid, ignoring it. The voice. So this feeling that I had then, sister, of like, you should not be going. You need to not go to Laguna. It was a similar feeling to that. It was a similar feeling of like almost this thing like something bad is going to happen. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know how that's defined. I'm not saying like the plane was going to crash. Like it's none of that. I mean, it could be. I don't know, right? But the bottom line is this, is that my experience has been in the last 2.5, 3 years, one of the most profound things that was introduced to me, that was taught to me, was like, listen to the voice inside of you. It always fucking knows. It is your inner compass, like it's guiding you. It's like this map for your life. And what do we often do? We fucking ignore it. We try to like figure it out and rationalize and do all this other bullshit, and we don't listen. It's like the GPS telling you what direction to go, and you go, oh, no, I'm just going to go this way. No, that's wrong. Nope. And then you end up fucking lost. So why am I sharing this with you? Because I know how many of you do ignore the voice. I know how many of you are having the voice share with you something, this feeling that you have of something you need to do, and you're not doing it. And I'm telling you right now, sister, if there is one thing that you get from this podcast, it's this. Start listening to the voice and follow. Listen and follow. Listen and follow. March of 2016. 2016? Yeah, March of 2016. Wait, I got to think for a second with times. March of 2015. I was on... Oh, wait, was it 2016? Fuck! No, I can't remember. Oh my gosh, I'm like totally blank right now. Anyways, it was when I was with my group coaching program with Shieldmate, same group coaching program. And we're on the beach journaling. And it was like profound, this feeling that we were actually planning to move to Ontario at that time. It was 2016. So like literally just a year and a half ago. And we planned to move to a city which was called London, Ontario, Ontario is the province of where I grew up. And it was a strong feeling of like, I need to live near the water. And what the voice was really telling me is it's not London. It's not London. I came back, it probably took me 2 weeks to share that with Ed. And I was like, babe, like we can't go. He's like, what do you mean? This is the plan. I'm like, no, something's telling me this is not it. It's not it. And that's my car telling me you're too close to the fence. The voice. Listen to the voice. It is all-knowing. It will guide you always. And I know that you know this, but do you know this? Do you know this? So here's your more tip for today. What has the voice been telling you, screaming at you to do that you have ignored? What is that thing? Number one, you're going to journal both these things. And number two, what is one thing you can do to follow it? One thing. Like maybe for like, oh shit, I don't know. Should I do this thing yet? I don't think I don't want to burn all the ships. I don't want to let me just take one step to move forward from that. It is never the wrong decision to listen to the voice. It is always the way to go. Always. That feeling you have about somebody, that knowing that you have of this is not the right thing for me, listen and follow. Listen and follow. So to journal all this, by the way, sister, if you don't have your limited edition Women Wanting More journal yet, I'm going to send you one for free and lots of other cool shit. So here's what you need to do. Go over to drkarenosborne.com/free journal. I'll have the clickable link then here in the show notes. And in addition, we were almost at 1,000 women in the Women Wanting More Experience closed Facebook group. It is a free Facebook group, different from the Sisterhood, which is a coaching program. But in the Women Wanting More Experience Facebook group, I actually put up questions 2 or 3 times a week. And there's just been unbelievable engagement within there, and you get to be around other women who are like you. Association is everything, sister. So this is a starting point. For some of you, like, I'm not ready to join the Sisterhood. This is a free Facebook group. So here's what you do. Go into Facebook, go up to the search bar, type in Women Wanting More Experience, and ask to be added to the group because it's a closed group, and I will add you within 24 hours. So grab your journal and join the Women Wanting More Experience Facebook group today. So I will talk to you in the next episode, sister. A life of some more is one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborne.com/newsletter.